What's going on, y'all? The bad nurse is here. I just got to work, so I'm looking a little tired right now, so just give me a little to wake up. I just took my Starbucks, so I should be coming a little live soon, so just give me a little minute. But I'm here right now because if you're not living under a rock, you just heard some crazy news. Bill Cosby has just been released from prison, and he ain't going back. Now, the real question is, why is he getting released? How is he able to get released? He just went to court for all this stuff. All these women came forward and said that he did this against them, whatnot, and ultimately he was found guilty. Now, 2 years later, he's walking free, a free man, and he is not going back to prison. That's facts. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, link down below. Follow me on Instagram at TheBadNurse1. Follow me on Facebook at Johnny Shep. I got more content coming up for y'all, man. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be doing big. All 2021, let's get into it. So the comedian has been accused of inappropriate misconduct, sexually assault, rape with over 60 different women from the time ranging between late 1960s to the early 2000s even. So because of the statute of limitation, literally all of these allegations except one was allowed to go through. That one allegation, which was the most recent allegation that sent him to court in 2018, against Andrea Constant, was ultimately the one that got him sent to prison. According to Ms. Constant, she was given a Quaalude, a sedative that made her unaware of everything that was going on, and Mr. Cosby ultimately took advantage of her in that drugged up state. The reason that he was convicted was because there was evidence that suggests that he was in fact guilty of this. And the major piece of evidence that suggests that he was guilty of this was a deposition that Mr. Cosby made on his own, pretty much saying that he admitted to using drugs and that he admitted to using drugs on women to make them have sex with. So, I mean, that sounds like pretty concrete evidence to me. So then the question is, how do you get this type of evidence and convict a person, send them to prison for 2 years, and then they become free? The actual issue in this case is that that deposition was actually used in the first place. The issue was that that deposition never should have been used, according to this. In 2005, the DA of Pennsylvania, Bruce Castor, made it clear to Mr. Cosby that there would be no criminal charges charged against him, but that there would in fact be a civil case charged against Mr. Cosby. As I explained in the previous Michael Jackson video, there can be a criminal case and a civil case all on the same allegation. The criminal case generally is looked at as the most important thing because the criminal case will send you to prison. So as a criminal case, you're literally fighting for your freedom to not be in jail, to do whatever the hell you want to do and not be in prison. The civil case generally goes for some type of asset, any type of property, liquid money, anything like that. So a civil case usually isn't looked at as something that is super important that you typically have to win, because you can give up assets, you can give up money, you can give up any type of material liquid thing, but you'll still be free at the end of the day. And with that being said, you can essentially confess that you did something wrong in a civil case, and evidence from that doesn't have to be used in a criminal case, especially if it's stated that way. And in fact, because the DA told Mr. Cosby that there would be no criminal cases against him, Mr. Cosby actually confessed in the civil case deposition, saying that he admitted to using drugs, and he also admitted to using drugs on women to have sex with them. Now, it could be argued that Mr. Cosby confessed to doing this because he felt like, okay, I can confess because I'm not going to get locked up in a criminal case, that he actually did it. Or it could also be said that he confessed and maybe he didn't do it, but he knew that to solve the civil case, he could confess and say whatever he wanted to say because there would be no charges criminally charged against him. As we know, whenever you read your Miranda rights, the first thing that you're read is your Fifth Amendment right, the right to remain silent. By using that deposition as evidence in a criminal case that would come over 10 years later, essentially violated his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Because if he wanted to, he could have remained silent, but he couldn't remain silent if they used a deposition against him that previously he was told that wasn't going to be used against him, and he told there was going to be no criminal charges made against him. On top of that, Mr. Cosby's legal team also argued that because that they used that evidence against him from the civil case in the criminal case, it also wasn't fair to him because he was told that he was not going to have any evidence from the civil case used against him in the criminal case, which violated his 14th Amendment right, which would have given him the right to a fair and speedy trial. And the defense ultimately argued that it wasn't fair, that they used evidence that was told they weren't going to be used against him and used it against him anyway. So to sum it all up, so it's black and white. In 2005, Bill Cosby gave a deposition confessing or simply stating that he used drugs in order to have sex with women. And he only said this after being informed from the DA that there would be no criminal charges against him. So no matter what, he couldn't go to jail. Now, fast forward, over 10 years after, they come back and say, well, okay, we actually are going to use your deposition against you in the criminal case. Cosby's legal team pretty much argued that it was unfair to his trial. Legally, it violated his Fifth Amendment's right to remain silent as well. They ultimately appealed that, brought it to the Supreme Court of the state of Pennsylvania, and the state of Pennsylvania ultimately came to the conclusion that his 14th Amendment rights and his Fifth Amendment rights were violated, and the whole case was null and void. And because of the statute of limitations, there's no third trial. They have no case. There's no way they can go for a third trial. So essentially, Bill Cosby is free, and he's never going back to prison. He's never getting charged. And unless new allegations come up within the statute of limitation, he's not going to get charged anymore, especially on this case. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that this man's walking free because the prosecutors used bad evidence. But I mean, it can go either way. Either an innocent man got his justice, or a man that's definitely guilty of this got free based off some miscommunication and just kind of got lucky off of it. What do you guys think? Do you think this man's guilty and got off the hook? Do you think he never should have been in the first place and he got justice served? What do y'all think, man? Comment down below, share this video, subscribe, comment. If you got any questions, inbox me. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bad Nurse 1. I got more videos coming up. I got more talk videos. I got more dance videos coming up, man. It's gonna be doing it big all 2021, y'all. I just got off work. I'm about to hit the sack, but I hope you have a good day, man. Do it big.